You may at some point along your microgreens business journey find yourself in a situation where you have to either stop your growth cycles altogether or just put them on pause. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to do to accomplish this properly, including managing those crop cycles, communicating with your customers with an appropriate message, and other things that you can expect when pausing, closing, or relocating your microgreens farm. For the best microgreens content on the internet, be sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. That way you get notified when I come out with new microgreens videos on Tuesdays. In my 5 years as a microgreens farmer, I've actually relocated my farm twice, so that's 3 farms. And now I'm gearing up to move my farm a 3rd time, including pausing the business for a few months, which I have never done before. Even when relocating previously, I kept my crop cycles going and never missed a delivery because of this. This time, I'll be putting my crop cycles on hold. That way I can do the build out for this 4th microgreens farm space. So whether you're going on vacation or relocating your microgreens farm, this video is going to be very useful for you because I'm going to take you through my step-by-step process for closing a microgreens farm right here in this video. That way you aren't left in the dark wondering what to do in this situation. All right, so the first thing to do is really determine what that date is that's gonna be your last delivery day. And then once you know that last delivery day, you can kind of backtrack from there and figure out when you really need to stop starting your trays and growing them. That way you don't have all these extra trays coming down the pipeline that you don't actually need. So for me, on my calendar, I know that the last day of deliveries for me is gonna be on April 14th. This delivery day right here, Thursday, I deliver Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So this Thursday right here is gonna be the last delivery day that we're doing deliveries. Therefore, a few weeks before that, we need to actually stop growing. That way, the last trays that we actually are gonna be needing for harvesting are ready on this Wednesday and then delivered out on that Thursday the 14th. So now that I know the day that I'm gonna be stopping my business, I can go back and figure out when to stop growing. But before I do that, you can notice here that today is the 31st and that's really close to when I'm gonna be stopping this business. So what I wanna do is I wanna let my customers know ASAP. I was originally gonna let them know about 3 weeks in advance, but time slipped away and now we're 2 weeks out. So I wanna make sure I'm getting this email out to them ASAP. So what I'm gonna do before I actually shut down my crop cycles and figure that out is I'm just gonna start writing this email up so I can get that out first. Because that is top priority right now, I would say. I know that none of my crop cycles are 2 weeks or longer, so I do have time there, and I'm gonna be doing this all today. So I'm just gonna get this email done first. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go into Notion, and I'm going to start a new page. I'm gonna call this Email FF Closing. And FF stands for Finest Foods, which is the name of my microgreens company. So we're gonna do it empty with an icon. We're gonna change this icon to a seedling because the seedling emoji looks most like a microgreen. So I could write out this whole email right now, but what I've decided is I'm just gonna write a little outline right now and then send that off to Alyssa because Alyssa, who works with me, that's my girlfriend, she agreed to writing this email for me. She's a very good writer and she always knows how to write things so it comes off very well. And that way I don't say anything that's silly. So I'm just gonna go ahead here and just write out the details of the email, everything that we need to include. Then I'm gonna pass it off to her to actually write the email. And then I'll see what she wrote and I'll just edit it if needed and then send off the email. All right, so I started writing out that the last delivery day was April 14th, but I don't want this to be confusing at all for my customers. So I wrote out all of the last delivery days based on what day that they are getting their products delivered. All right, I wanna let them know a reason for closing down the business. So the reason for closing this business or putting it on pause rather than just going from one farm location to the other farm location like I've done twice in the past is first we had landlord problems. There's a lot of problems with the landlord and we're leaving that location. We have to, and we're doing that by the end of April. So we are relocating the business, but we are staying in Huntington. And then we do need time to build out the farm because of the situation. All right, so now I'm starting to think about the main components of the email and how they're gonna flow. So I'm putting this email in order right here for Alyssa to see. So I wanna mention that it's been 5 years, haven't missed a day, and that it's been an absolute pleasure to serve these customers. I wanna let them know how thankful I am for them and for believing in me to grow their food for them every week. And also, more importantly, for believing in themselves to implement some of these super healthy foods into their diet. Because we know changing diet and changing habits and lifestyles is not always easy. All right, so I want to include that we'll be temporarily closing the business starting April 14th and then reopening at the end of the summer or early fall once the build out is complete in the new location. I want to mention that I'm very sorry for the inconvenience, and I know how much that they look forward to and even rely on these foods each week. It's very true. And then I want to mention that I hope to grow for them again in the future once we are back open. So kind of letting the customers know, like, yes, this is something that I have to do. I have to close the business temporarily for the time being. And then hopefully when I open back up again, they'll be willing to be my customers again. Now, this is something that I'm aware of. If I shut down this business for a few months, my health food store customers, they can go and find a new vendor, a new microgreens vendor. And that would be unfortunate, but that's definitely something that can happen. Some of my personal clients that I deliver to their homes, they might go looking for another grower and be utilizing them if I shut down. Now, I am aware of these things and I do potentially anticipate it. I hope that even if they do find another customer to meet their needs in the meantime, that they will come back to me. Seeing how they have been a loyal customer to me for all this time, and the fact that I've grown a very high quality product and have been very consistent in my growing and delivering for them. All right, so now I think there's probably enough information in here to send this off to Alyssa. I'm just gonna turn these into headings. All right, let's share this to the web. We're gonna do allow editing. We're gonna copy the link. And then I'm gonna go to my messages here and just send this off to Alyssa. That way she can go check it out and then edit it up and actually complete the email. So now that she has the link and I've shared it to the web, she's gonna be able to open this and actually edit this information. I'm actually gonna add this where we have the actual email. Boom, so now she knows where to actually start typing the email down here. And then once that's done, she'll let me know. So that's passed off to her. She'll do that. And now in the meantime, while she's finishing up that email, I'm gonna go back and figure out exactly when I need to stop growing my different crops. That way I don't get left with a bunch of extra product that I don't actually need in the future. So I know the last delivery day is gonna be the 14th, all right? So what I need to do now is I need to go into Excel and really just look at my crop cycles. This is my order sheet. I purposefully have it kind of zoomed in right now because I don't want you to see my customers' sensitive information, which is to the left of this sheet. But I just wanted to show very quickly, this is how I've been adding up all my orders each week and all the different products that I have to grow. And then what it does is it kind of totals up into the total amount of ounces that I need for each day of each week for each variety. And then from there, it calculates how many trays I need to start for each variety as well. So once that is all figured out using the spreadsheet, it actually automatically populates this dashboard sheet. So this tells me what I need to start on each day for each variety. So it's color coded. Green is pea, black is sunflower, red is radish, purple is broccoli, and then this is the grass down here. So like I mentioned earlier, I have 4 delivery days, and that's why you see these 4 numbers in a row followed by 3 zeros. 4 numbers in a row followed by 3 zeros, because these correlate to the delivery days. So all I really need to know to figure this out properly and how to stop doing these crop cycles is I need to figure out when the last tray is gonna be planted for that last delivery day for the longest growth variety. That will tell me the first day that I need to stop growing. And then the rest of varieties will stop growing after that because they're a little bit shorter of a crop cycle. So what I'm gonna do right now, because I really don't wanna screw this up for myself and closing out the end of this business, I don't want extra crops, I wanna do this correctly. And then also I wanna start teaching you a little bit of Notion and how to use that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Notion and create a database that'll display as a calendar where I could see visually when my crop cycles are going to be starting and stopping. That way I can go to the date that we're looking at and make sure that we are stopping everything at the right time. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head back over to Notion, and it looks like Alyssa has been making good progress on the email. You can see that all the information that she's typing in here is now populating in here. I'm just gonna create a new page, and I'm gonna call it FF Shutdown Schedule for Finest Foods Shutdown Schedule. I'm gonna make it empty, and then what I wanna do is I wanna add an inline database. So we're gonna do that. Then we're gonna call this, these names are gonna be our varieties. So we're doing radish, sunflower, pea, and broccoli. I'm just gonna call this database. And then we need to add a view here though, because we are going to need a calendar view. We're also going to make this full width. All right, so nothing's on the calendar yet. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna remove this property, but we do need this date. So let's just make the date the end date for all of them, because I want these to start showing up on the calendar. So if we go here, go look at the 14th, we can see that these are now populating on the 14th. So now that these are all on Thursday, I need to change the length of these based on their crop cycles. So I'm gonna be going back and forth between Notion and Excel. And since we're doing the Thursday delivery day, we're looking at the fourth number in the set of numbers. That way it correlates to the Thursday and not the Monday delivery. So let's start with radish. It looks like we're starting the crops on Wednesdays for the Wednesday harvest, which means Thursday deliveries, because I always harvest the day before deliveries. So for Thursday deliveries, radish is being started on the Wednesday prior. Nice and easy. Now for broccoli for, this is the fourth number, 7, 12, 8, 25. This is the big Thursday delivery day. So these are getting harvested on Wednesday. And it looks like these trays are getting started on a Sunday. So we're gonna go to broccoli. For Thursday deliveries, we start these on a Sunday. And it's gonna be longer than the radish crop. So we have broccoli done, we have radish done. Now we're looking at sunflower. So the fourth number in this sequence correlates to that Thursday delivery again, and it looks like we're starting these on a Friday. Starting these, not this Friday, because that's too short, it's not even a week, so it must be this Friday. And then peas, looks like correlates to Monday. Peas, not this Monday, but the Monday prior. So we have radish is the quickest cycle. They all end on the 14th, right? So we have radish is the quickest cycle, pea is second quickest, then broccoli is third quickest, and then sunflower is the longest crop cycle. So now that I have this database set up properly and all of these growth cycles are the correct length and everything ends on that Thursday the 14th, now what I can do is see this very easily and visually. So I can see that tomorrow, Friday, will be the last time I actually need to plant sunflower. So after they get planted tomorrow, they get soaked overnight, right? So the seeds will go in a bucket tonight. They'll get soaked overnight, and then we will actually make those trays tomorrow. After that, no more sunflower needs to get made. That's the longest variety. Then after sunflower, the next longest variety is broccoli. So once those get made on the 3rd, there's no more making broccoli. Then pea, the last pea that gets made is gonna be on the 4th, and then the last radish that gets made will be on Wednesday the 6th. And then there's no more starting of trays that I need to do for these crop cycles, because those are the last days that we need to start these seeds to be able to complete that last delivery day, which will be on the 14th. So we know that this day right here, Wednesday, April 6th, is gonna be the last planting day, period. Because radish is the shortest crop cycle, which means it's gonna be planted last out of all of them. And then this is the last delivery day. So this date right here, Wednesday the 6th, is the last planting day, and it's gonna be for the radish. Now I know the last of my crop cycles. So what I'll do is on my boards in the farm where I actually display what gets made that day for the people who are making trays, whether it's me or Alyssa or somebody else, is I'll just erase it from that board. So it'll stay on the board that tells you what to pull each day for harvesting, but I'll erase it from the tray making board, that way the trays don't get made. And also so that there's no confusion for anybody who's working. And that's really it. I liked the idea of doing this in Notion. It makes it very easy to understand because it's visual. And now I know that after tonight, there's no more sunflower. So I'll cross that off the board and then I'll delete it from here. And then after I make this broccoli on Sunday, then that'll disappear as well and that'll get deleted. Then after the pea gets made on Monday, there'll be no more making peas. And then after that radish tray gets made on the 6th, then there's no more making radish. And that's it. Now, I got a text from Melissa saying that the email is done, so we're gonna go check that out. It's right here. So this is the information that I put in, and then here's the actual email. So let's see what Alyssa wrote. To my loyal Finest Foods customers, I want to open this email by saying how amazing your support has been over the last 5 years. I always knew this business was going to be successful, but the endless support and love has been something I never imagined. I am beyond grateful for you all. I do want to get straight to the main points of this email to limit any confusion. The week of April 11th will be the last round of deliveries for the time being. Due to some issues regarding our current farm location, Finest Foods will be pausing all deliveries while we undergo a move and a new farm build out. We will be moving the farm to a new location in Huntington and taking time during the break to build an amazing new farm for you all. We will be temporarily pausing all business during this time. Please look below to see what your last delivery day will be. Great, and then we have those delivery days that she probably just copied right from above. Over these last 5 years, you have all watched this business grow and thrive within our local community. Some of you have been here from the start, others have just joined. I want to be clear when I say that it has been an absolute pleasure serving you, and I'm proud of you all for adding these foods into your diet every week. When I started this farm, I wanted to impact people's lives by growing food, but I did not anticipate the amount of personal and professional growth that has come from running my business day to day. Watching my community enjoy some of the healthiest foods on the planet and connecting with you all on a personal level. Starting from the farmers markets, doing my own deliveries each week, and building relationships with my customers are moments that have really changed the way this business runs. As the business has grown, so has the support from my customers, and there are no words to describe how that has impacted my life. Over the last 5 years, I've worked every day, literally, in order to provide high quality products to all of my customers, and I would not change any of it. I want to personally express how very sorry I am for the inconvenience, and I know how much you look forward to and rely on these foods each week. I hope to grow for you again in the future once we are back open. Myself and all the employees at Finest Foods, past and present, have loved going on this journey with you all, and we are so excited for the future. Our plans are to close the farm, begin to build out, and reopen in early fall. We will be coming back stronger and better, and we cannot wait to be serving you all again. We will also be documenting this entire process for you all and giving updates as we go. If you want to tag along and see the process, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram, Donny Greens. Thank you all for being a part of the first half of this journey by believing in me to grow and deliver your food each week. More importantly, thank you for believing in yourself and taking the initiative to implement some of the healthiest foods on the planet into your diets each week. It has been an honor to serve you all, and we are so excited for the next phase of Finest Foods. If you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out. We will see you again really soon. Add whatever to the end. I'm not sure how you want to close it out. All right, so this looks great. So with that little bit of information and just some key points that I wanted included in the email, Alyssa was able to create this very nice long email, including much more than I even recommended. So that's great. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna reread it and fine tune it. So I think that the information is great in here, but I think it's slightly redundant. I want to make it as easy as possible for my customers to read it and get the information that they need. So I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit, and then I'll show you how I'm going to send this out. Loyal and beloved. All right, I think this looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this whole thing. I'm going to go to mail. I'm just going to paste it in here, and then I need to go into my Excel spreadsheet, copy all their email addresses, and add it as a BCC in the email that way to remain private. Just gotta add the subscribe link to the email so they can follow along on the journey via YouTube. And that's it. I'm gonna send this off right now. So the only thing I just realized I didn't really include in the email was the fact that their orders will automatically be canceled and that they will not be billed. So I might get a few questions back of them asking. I mean, it was pretty obvious that I'm gonna be doing that. I'm not gonna keep charging them if I'm not delivering to them, but that may be the only one thing that could be a little bit confusing about that email. So the email has been sent. We figured out the shutting down of the crop cycles. And these are the two most important things to do when you're first starting to shut down the business. After that, there's just a few other things to think about. Take a second right now just to comment below and let me know if you've ever relocated your farm or had to close down any of your crop cycles. I've actually never done this before. I'm a little bit nervous and I'd love to hear about your experiences with a similar situation. All right, so once you have filled in your customers with what's going on in your life and with your business, and you have also figured out when you're actually gonna stop growing these crop cycles, there's just a few other steps that need to happen to fully close down the farm. First, you have to take care of your internet accounts, all right? So you have a website. You're definitely gonna wanna put some sort of message across the website, letting people know what's going on. I also recommend going to your sign up page or however members do that and making sure that you no longer have the option for people to sign up because you don't want people signing up to your business when it's not actually available right now. Second thing to do on the internet is to go to your Google business listing, all right? Oftentimes there's hours on there and it has information about your business. Make sure to go in there and change the hourly setting. You can change it to temporarily closed. That's at least what I'm doing because I am gonna be temporarily closed. If you're actually shutting down the farm, you might wanna remove the listing altogether. And if you're going on a vacation that's kind of short term, you may just wanna modify your hours for those weeks. But in my case, since I'm actually closing the farm temporarily and I need a few months to do this build out, I am going to select that setting in my Google business listing for Finest Foods, that's the name of my company, for temporarily closed. And the third thing to do on the internet is your social media, all right? So definitely post some content on your social media, letting people know what's going on. And if you're doing a new build out, that's a good opportunity to make content. So I would definitely be keeping your customers updated via creating content of your process of making the new farm. That's gonna be really cool to watch, and I would probably assume that you're gonna be able to get a few more customers because they're just excited to watch you go through that process. Now, once your online footprint is taken care of, it's time to start thinking about the physical equipment and supplies that's in your farm and what to do with it. Anything you actually don't use and don't need, I suggest throwing out or getting rid of it, donating it somewhere, because you really want to stay as minimal as possible in your farm space. You really only want stuff in there that you actively use. This kind of goes along with the idea of being tidy or like minimalism. If you guys are into that, I highly recommend you check it out. Marie Kondo is a great resource there. But these principles also apply to your farm and are very important to keep it running smoothly and efficiently. These transitional times, whether you're pausing the business, closing it down, relocating, these are great opportunities and great times to do this because it gives you that time and space that you need just to walk around, look at your farm, see what's in there, and make any adjustments needed. Oftentimes you will find that it's like, okay, I don't need that, I don't need this, I don't need this. Why is that even in here? So take this time just to get rid of that stuff. That way it's not following you along in your life and weighing you down. Now, once any unnecessary things are gotten rid of, it is time to start thinking about the transition process of the rest of your equipment that you actually do want. Since your microgreens grow on a cycle, you will be able to move more equipment around as it becomes available or not in use. This is unique to microgreens businesses and the way that we grow. And it's actually a huge benefit because you can transition your farm from location to location or transition your farm into pausing or closing rather than having to do it all in one day, like as if you were moving your house. Like if you were moving your house across the country, and I guess in this case with your farm, you would have to kind of do this in one shipment. But if you're, say, moving from town to town, or maybe you're moving your farm just down the road to a different location, you can just do this as your business is transitioning out of the growth cycle in that original space. It makes it very manageable because you can do it over time. And I remember it not being overwhelming the past 2 times I had to do this. And now, as I'm starting to do this with my current farm, I feel the same way. We're able to move stuff out slowly over time rather than having to do it all at once. In the past, when I was relocating my farm, what I did was the new trays that I was going to be starting, like making the trays and doing the germination part of the process, I would start those trays in the new location, while in the current location, all of the actively growing crops were still being grown out, right? So there's no more tray making, no more germination process in that original farm. That process is now going on in the new farm. And that way, as you start harvesting through your active crops from your original farm, that's gonna open up the racks, and then you could move those over to your new farm before your newest trays that are in germination need to come out onto those racks under lights. So I hope that makes sense. It makes the transition process very easily by just starting to grow in the new space and phasing out of the old space. Now, if you're pausing your crop cycles like I am currently, you're gonna do the same thing, but you're just not gonna start growing in the new space. You're just not gonna start growing, you're just gonna stop growing, and you're basically just gonna follow the instructions that I said in the beginning of this video, figuring out when to actually stop growing the different varieties. Now, one thing to remember if you are doing something like going on vacation, if you're going on vacation for say 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you actually need 4 or 5 weeks to be able to get back home, start the germination process, and get your crops grown again before you can deliver them. If you want to start delivering and fulfilling orders right when you get back from vacation, then while you're on your last week or 2 of vacation, you're gonna need somebody else, whether it's a friend or a family member or maybe an employee, to come into the farm and at least start those crop cycles, start making those trays again while you're still on vacation. That way, by the time you get back, they're gonna be ready for harvesting. So I just wanted to kind of point that out there because this is a nuance of this business. You might be going away forgetting the fact that you have to actually start up the cycles again to be able to get these crops growing, because they do take a little bit of time to grow, whether it's a week or 2. So just don't tell your customers that they're gonna be out of product for 2 to 3 weeks if they're actually gonna be out of product for 4 to 5 weeks. All right, so as your last crops are growing on the racks under lights, your germination room will be empty, right? And if that germination room is empty, in my case, I'm gonna be moving stuff out. So now that those germination racks are not in use, I can move that stuff out of there. I can also move all my seeds, right? Because I don't need the seeds at this point. I can also move all my buckets out, all my sinks in my germination room. Anything involved in the germination and tray making process, I can actually remove out of my farm. Even though I'm still growing crops in there, there's no more germination, and that stuff can be moved out at that point in time. Then for me, I have 4 different harvest days. So on each harvest day, we're gonna be removing trays off of the racks and harvesting them, which will make those other racks now available for moving out as well. And then by the time I'm harvesting my last harvest, I will be able to move everything out of my farm. That last harvest day is really the day where you can start moving the rest of your racks out of the farm because they are no longer needed and there are no longer actively growing crops on those racks. In my case, I'll be transporting all of my equipment from my current farm into the garage and basement of my current house that I'm living in, because that is where I'm gonna be starting up my new farm build out. And that's it. So this is how you close down a farm or pause a farm, and the nuances of closing a microgreens farm due to the cyclical nature of this business. So now you know how to shut down your farm if you need to, but what if you want to follow along my journey as I actually do shut down my farm and start doing the build out for my new farm? Be sure to also follow me on Instagram, where I can post more day-to-day of what I'm actually doing in my life and in my farm as I shut it down and start it back up and do a huge build out. You can follow along right on Instagram, especially in my Instagram stories. So go check me out on Instagram. My username is Donny Greens. Check out the videos below to learn the top mistakes I've made in my past 5 years of microgreens farming. That way you don't make them. And watch the other video for everything that you're gonna need to start your farm back up. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with anybody you think it may help. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.